Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
Hey, welcome back. He's on Fire podcast, you guys. We've got a lot to get into, so I just want to jump right into it tonight. The first thing we need to talk about is your defending champion, Western Conference champion, Phoenix Suns. We've had a lot of movement the last few days, but I want to start with the point that Flex made. I believe it was on Suns Jam Session, or it could have been PHNX. Not really sure which one it is, but he came off and he said, this is going to be a good thing that these guys have COVID. Not necessarily that they have COVID, but that other guys are going to get to play. Sure enough, Jalen Smith. Okay, first off, JaVale McGee comes out, fills in the DA, balls out for a couple games, then gets COVID himself. Jalen Smith comes in, starts killing it. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. You give a guy a few minutes and boom, randomly out of nowhere, he is a legitimate NBA player. I am almost kind of pissed that we didn't pick up the option at this point. I'm a little bit upset at Monty Williams for not seeing this earlier and playing him earlier. And then we signed Bismack Biyombo. The Biz, there's so many freaking nicknames that he's had right now. And he comes out and he shows out. He's averaging 13.6 rebounds in the first two games. He looks like he was here all training camp. He looks like he's been here for a year. What am I talking about training camp? He has just fit in so seamlessly, like Torrey Craig. And now when everybody returns, which everybody is off a COVID protocol now, with the exception of Landry Shamet, who just went in, yesterday or 2 days ago? I'm not really sure which one it was. Yeah. What are we going to look like now? Is Jalen Smith just going to get relegated back to the bench? Is Bismack Biyombo not going to play? Are we going to go bigger? Are we going to see lineups where JaVale McGee is going to be at the 5, Ayton at the 4? Sticks might back him up and have Biz still playing, because all of these guys are contributing, so it's not like you can push one aside. What is going to happen to our lineup? Amin, I want to start with you. First, what have you seen from Jalen Smith and Biz? And what do you think we're going to look like when everybody's healthy and on the court together?
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing two guys that are looking that haven't played, that are looking to play, that are looking to prove themselves. And I mean, it just Chris Paul, man, you put any big that knows how to set a pick and roll and has athletic ability, and he turns them into DeAndre Jordan. I mean, it's wild how he can just seamlessly find these guys and pull the best out of them somehow. Because I didn't really see too much of Bismack Biyombo other than previously when he wasn't on the Suns, his shot blocking, but this rim running, and then just having the he made a play in the last game where he knew exactly where to throw the ball to Cam Johnson for the 3. Like that sort of awareness is, I don't know where he got that, just being on a 10-day contract, but that's compliments to Monty Williams. That's compliments to Mark Bryant. Obviously, Mark Bryant is doing something because he's getting a lot out of these bigs that we haven't been getting in the past. And now that we have this sort of depth, I mean, yeah, the lineups are now we have this delicious amount of different lineups we could play with. We could do a lineup where you got Ayton, Jalen Smith, Cam Johnson, Mikal, and Book at point. Stretched. I'm going to call it the stretch lineup. Like now you got playmakers, shooters, and you have the ability to just smash people in the pick and roll, and no one's going to score on you in the paint, and you're going to get every rebound. So I just love it. Right. Which I love. I mean, I just love the idea that now we can do these different types of things. And I keep thinking that small ball 5 that we keep thinking about, or that combo guard that we need, that can get us buckets. And the way, if Mikal starts putting together 20 plus games, we have a third scorer at that point, especially the way that Cam Johnson is shooting the ball. And if we see Cam Johnson be able to play the small 5 or small ball 5, Now things are cooking. Now I'm thinking, why do we need to make any moves? Maybe we don't. Maybe we're just trying to find a way to fit these guys in, see if Frank can come back, see if Dario can come back, and just roll with what we got. I'm almost at the point where I'm thinking maybe we should just roll with what we got.
I kind of agree. I want to apologize to Stay Off My Grass podcast. I meant to go in and hit your name to show it up, and somehow it blocked you, but I unblocked you. So if you're still listening, please forgive me. I've had a few technical difficulties already, but shout out to Stay Off My Grass podcast. My bad, you guys. I completely agree with you, Emmett. At this point, let's roll with what we have. Amit, do you think we need Torrey Craig? Do you think we need to go after like Jeremy Grant or Christian Wood or anything like that?
No, I think those type of contracts is going to hurt us when we have to pay Cam Johnson. So I'm not looking at like some of these other long-term contracts. I'm looking at, Torrey Craig would be nice, but what position, what player are you giving up? Nader? If you give up Nader for Torrey Craig, yeah.
Right. If the whole plan is to not re-sign Jalen Smith no matter what, then yes, you need to trade him right now. But you and I aren't going to know that. Nobody on this podcast or any other Suns podcast is going to know that at this point. But if their plan is fully to not invest in sticks for whatever reason it may be, that would be who we have to get rid of. But you're right. Nader's it, man. Nader's it. J-Mac Kid Yambo. Give me your thoughts on what you've seen from the Biz and Jalen Smith, and then talk to me about what you think these future lineups can do.
Well, first, I want to say Happy New Year's to you guys. I hope everybody had a good New Year's and, a lot of drinking and food and all of that. So I hope everybody had a good time with family. But, man, it's just been a crazy weekend. One, the Cardinals beat the Cowboys. We'll get into that later. And then that Hornets game and then that Pelicans game last night, man. It's like I want to start with the Hornets game first. I missed about half of that game. I was out doing stuff. And I came home and I tweeted. I'm like, hey, how's the Jalen Smith playing? Someone give me an update. And right when I tweeted that and I put on the game, he put Mason Plumlee on a T-shirt. So – and then I looked at his box score and like 2 blocks, 8 of 15 in 24 minutes, 12 boards and a plus 19 and the plus minus. Like he was balling out, and that Pelicans game, like blowout, and then or the Hornets game blowout, and then the Pelicans game yesterday, it was very chill pace. Like Biyombo in that Hornets game, he was dominant. Like he took over for a 3-4 minute stretch of him just scoring, rebound, finding Cam Johnson in a corner, or just bringing the ball back down, like just going up strong. And Biyombo isn't the biggest guy. He's like 6'8", 6'9", and we had him playing backup center to Jalen Smith. And he held his own, and he did a great job bodying Plumlee. I'm like, okay. Like after I watched the Hornets game, I'm like, I want to see what Biyombo can do against Jonas, the Viking Valanciunas, the next
day. Viking.
And like, what do you know? Like Jalen Smith got under Jonas's skin, really made him mad, and Jonas started to get sloppy. Jalen Smith kind of had his own, but got in foul trouble kind of early. Then Biyombo again, 3-4 minute stretch in the fourth quarter, just taking it over, putting people on T-shirts, snatching boards and stuff. And that's exactly what we need for this team right now. And this morning I was listening to the Burns and Gambo show out here in Arizona, and they had James Jones on, and they asked what James Jones thought about Biyombo right now, and he said he loves everything that he's seeing right now, and they tried going after him in the summer, but if everybody doesn't know, Biyombo lost his dad in August, so he was kind of just away from just basketball in general. So just things didn't work out then, and to pick him up now and no other team to pick him up from whenever he decided to play to now was kind of crazy. And yeah, like how Evan was saying, like he just one day of practice, and he already fit the mold of exactly what we need. He was great on the short roll. He had post moves. He was grabbing boards. He was aggressive. He's kind of everything that we needed to not only win that game, but I'm just thinking more in the future. So I put a lot of credit for the last 2 wins with Jalen Smith and Biombo because they surprised me. More Jalen Smith, but like he's had mentorship from DA and JaVale, and I think he just finally is kind of becoming a mold of him that he's meant to be, how he was in Maryland. So,
and I want to go back to that Hornets game because Evan, did you see that game?
Oh yeah.
So you're seeing 2 teams that are basically the Suns mirrored the way that the Hornets are playing, which was just this up and down pace. And you saw a team play with complete precision, and you saw a pickup team, bunch of dudes standing around the 3-point line going one-on-one, maybe setting a pick here and there. But their team, dude, is not like they're not a playoff team. I mean, they may make the playoffs in the East, but they're going to get bounced in the first round. I
thought they were going to be a lot better for what it's worth.
I thought so too. And I thought Gordon Hayward would be that like steadying piece for them. And they don't even really give him the ball that much.
He was non-existent that whole game.
Yeah. And it's just the way they play. I'm just like, and the Suns played that same style. They're like, okay, you want to run up and down? Okay, cool. We bet we'll do that. And we'll just hammer it on you every time. And how many dunks and 3-point shots did we get? And it was all precision because the shooters went to the corners and the guys that are supposed to go to the rim went to the rim. And it was just, you could just see the difference of like how you're supposed to play that and how you play if you don't feel like, and it's really surprising to me because James Borrego is a part of Coach Pop's coaching tree. And he was supposed to be lauded as this like great coach. And I just saw no discipline from that team.
I completely agree. They smacked us one time last year, or they were close. I remember they were going around smacking people in the league. Yeah. They were going around in the league and they were getting people for whatever reason. They weren't ready for them. I thought they were going to be able to improve, and that's not the case. And we just went out there and we did a number on them. We did a number on them again. 2 times in a row. Like you'd think the second time they would have been ready, but they weren't. Bismack Biyombo offensively is what I want from Ayton when it comes from the pick and roll. The way he sets his screens, he has a wide body, so he's ready to roll right away. He rolls to the basket, but away from Chris Paul to give Chris Paul space, and then he just goes up and decimates anybody at the rim. There's no reason Ayton can't do that, man. We're talking about his pretty game, his soft touch around the rim. Dude, you got to go up and you've got to put some force behind it. So hopefully a guy like JaVale McGee and Bismack Biyombo can teach DeAndre Ayton to do that. But moving to last night's game, yeah, what's up, Jay?
I don't know if you guys
just interrupt me. Don't raise your hand. Just interrupt me. Holy shit.
Okay, I'm sorry, man, but but I don't know if you guys noticed in the last 2 games of Bismo, like when he sets a screen, he takes up 2 guys, and I don't know if you guys noticed like how open Chris Paul and Booker were at the mid range. I'm just saying, like he takes up a lot of space. He's a strong dude. Like he was setting aggressive ass picks. So like Book had a lot of open shots, and
he got that 3 off. He got that 3 off at the end just because Biyombo just set a massive screen. Yeah. There was just enough space for him to just hit that 3.
Yeah. So like, he's been great. Like I can't say anything more, like he's definitely what we need right now. And if we can get Torrey just for Nader, I'm totally on board. But what I'm seeing from Jalen Smith and Biyombo right now, I'm willing to settle with Jalen Smith and sign Biyombo for the rest of the season.
So before we get into the next game, I really want to bring up, I don't know if there's anything that Torrey Craig brings that Jalen Smith can't other than perimeter defense.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we would need more perimeter defense.
Jalen's
it doesn't
solid.
hurt. The more wings you have, the better. I
Booker plays D. You can throw Elfrid Payton on a 2 guard. He has great perimeter defense, just man-to-man defense. You got McHale, you got Cam Johnson. You can throw in Nader when he's healthy. Then you got Jay Crowder. I don't know if we need that, but I think he can go out and he can guard like a Poku sized type of player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're not going to see Poku in the playoffs. You're going to see Paul George. And I think you need a guy that can guard him, and Craig has the experience in the NBA to do that.
Correct. Craig can do
Sorry,
that.
locked him up last year.
But our downfall last year was the big man, right?
Yeah.
Getting the extra rebounds and doing that kind of thing. So do you think this offsets that a little bit? You know what I'm saying?
So that's what I was thinking is like, if you play Cam at the 5, like, yeah, you give up a little bit on defense. Not that he's not a good defensive player, but he's just not used to playing the 5 as much.
He's going to get bodied a little bit.
Yeah, and rebounding maybe an impact. But the shooting that you get on the other side, I think I take that trade. I take that trade, and the fact that he's not afraid to yam on anybody. I mean, I just like the idea that if you went small with Cam, maybe you give up a little bit interior, but you're going to spread the court out. It's like the whole Gobert thing, right? Like what the Clippers did is if you can just go small enough and make enough shots, you can just play some of these guys off the court.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes sense. That completely makes sense. So moving to last night's game, JJ, let's start with you. I don't know how much you were able to watch last night, but what did you get from it?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. The Suns were just kind of playing their own game at their own pace, what they wanted to do. They really slowed down, the typical pace that they usually play at. But shout out to Cam Johnson. He was at 20 games in a row with like 3+ threes. Is that the record? Which that's pretty insane. And he's shooting very efficiently. And Booker finally hit 40% on his threes. Like he's at 40%.
He's at 40 or 42?
I think it's 42. He was 50% last night.
Okay. So, but just last night, it was kind of like a clinic when the Suns wanted to close out the game. They did. Like I said, Bismack, he just owned Jonas for 4 minutes. And Jalen Smith, he had foul trouble. He kind of got bounced around a little bit. He didn't play a lot of minutes, but he still put up points. He put up 2 threes early. And that was kind of a good feeling. And Brandon Ingram, he couldn't do jack shit, dude. And he tried to play hero ball.
He had 3 or 4 turnovers in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. And I think 2 or 3 of them were back to back. But he tried playing hero ball. It didn't really go that well. And Devontae Graham, I like him, but those last 2 threes he just threw up. I swear to God, his eyes were closed. But
I thought of Amit when Devontae Graham was doing his thing, because what does Amit say when you're showboating and you're talking trash like in the third quarter or something? It never works out, and that's what happened to Devontae Graham.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Josh Hart, he had a decent game, but this Pelicans team is just not, in our wheelhouse right now. But it was
poor
good
Willie Green.
I know Willie Green is putting up with a lot right now with Zion's big self, but
the thing is, this team tried. They came back 3 or 4 times, got it to single digits, they got it to 2 points. I mean, that's a Monty Williams, that's a Willie Green coach team. That team is going to fight until the end. They just don't have enough talent, and that's the thing is that's one thing that when you look at the last 2 games, you got to take it with a grain of salt, because it's these teams aren't that good. We got to see this against, some of the Nets or someone else. We got the Clippers tomorrow. I know we're going to talk about that. That's where we want to see the same sort of performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got my thoughts. So, I mean, let's just move to the Clippers real quick. I mean, Paul George is out. Zubac is out. Luke Kennard is out. I forget who else was out. We went through it on last night's Suns Jam Session podcast, but they have so many dudes out, and basically they have Ibaka and Reggie Jackson. So if you stop Reggie Jackson tomorrow, you're riding solo, man. I mean, just stop Reggie Jackson and we're going to be fine. Oh, I have it right here, actually. Injuries. Let's check this out. So the Clippers. Oh, Nicholas Batum is out. Luke Kennard is out. Zubac is in safety protocols, and Paul George is out. Obviously,
so basically
Kawhi
the whole
is out
starting
too.
5. Wow.
Minus Reggie Jackson. They still have Eric Bledsoe. But like,
I don't want to be.
That's
here.
it. And they got Terrence Mann, they got Eric Bledsoe, they've got Reggie Jackson. We know what Reggie Jackson can do, and they got Marcus Morris. So all dudes that that can light up the Suns. It's the Marcus Morris and Eric Bledsoe revenge game. But you stop Reggie Jackson, and we're gonna have a very good chance of winning because they don't have anything interior wise right now. No disrespect to Ibaka, but he can't take on
All that.
all of the guys that we can throw at him. Granted, Jay Crowder and Ayton and McGee are not going to play tomorrow. They are out of protocols. They will not play tomorrow due to conditioning, what I read today. I just still don't think that they have a chance tomorrow. It's on TNT. It'll be at 8 o'clock at night, which will be nice. That's just my thoughts on the Clippers. Do you guys have anything else on that matter?
Go ahead, Jay.
No, I think you summed it up pretty well. You know, like basically the whole Clippers starting five is out. Stop Reggie Jackson and, maybe get Serge Ibaka in some foul trouble early. Then, we can kind of put this game away pretty soon, pretty early. So,
yep.
I want to see Bismack Biyombo against Serge Ibaka. I think they're both from the Congo. Is that right? I know Bismack is. I don't know where Serge is from. But it'd be cool to see two 6'9" long dudes from the Congo play against each other.
I think Ibaka is from the Congo.
Yeah. So that's cool to see.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I'm looking it up right now. From Congo. Yeah. That's awesome. So just go out tomorrow, get another win. Win number 30 it would be, right? We'd be at win number we'd be at win number 30 this early in the season. How about that? Remember the days when we couldn't even get to 20 wins? And here we are getting 30. So shout out Phoenix Suns. It's been a great ride. But I still can't get past what is this going to look like when all our guys return? Yeah. What is it going to look like mainly for Ayton? You guys got any thoughts? Because I'm honestly a little bit at a loss for words. I would suspect that he would come back and play his regular role along with McGee. But again, these are all guys that have contributed. What do you think, Jay?
So I was thinking about this today. So I was thinking about DA's max, he's been playing really well this season, a lot better than last season. But when it comes to talking about max potential, it's like I was thinking about the Chris Paul situation too. Like he's probably going to be here for another 2 years. So is DA going to be able to flourish without CP3 feeding him and kind of just having them in that mold? And he's and DA's will be able to adjust to other point guards and how they do it, or it's just CP3's way or no way. And that's kind of what I've been thinking. You guys know what I mean when I say that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the tough part is we're seeing the performance out of these guys, but they're playing with the point guard. So if we're looking at Biyombo and Sticks minutes, they're not going to be playing with the point guard unless there's some sort of shakeup in the way that we do our lineups or we do the way that CP3 does his rotations. Mm-hmm. So you aren't, and all Suns fans just understand, you are not going to see those same performances from these guys coming off the bench with limited minutes. It's not going to be the same thing. So how do you, are we trying to get that performance out of them right now? Or are we trying to maximize DA's performance? I would prefer to maximize DA's performance right now because his game is just much more evolved. He's got way more skill. He's got way more talent than those guys. So I would like to see that.
If I may, I don't care. I want to win and I want a championship. I don't care. I don't care if DA gets 15 minutes from here on out and we still win and we look just as good. I don't care if DA gets 35 minutes and we never see Jalen Smith again. I don't care. I want to win. And I think every Suns fan would be kind of in that boat no matter what. But then this opens up Pandora's box, Amit. This opens up, okay, are we going to re-sign DA? No, he's not worth the extension. He's not worth that much. Well, then we need to re-sign Sticks. No, we need to trade. You know what I mean? This opens up Pandora's box for Suns fans. And what John brought up on Suns Jam Session last night was well, then what are you going to do with Cam Johnson if you pay DA? And I was like, shit, we're really going to go down that road soon. That's going to be a legitimate conversation. But we can do what we did to DA this year. We can decline it and have him come back a year and then do something. But I don't want to get that far out. But what we know from Monty is that he likes to keep his rotations where it's at. When DA went out, he wanted JaVale McGee to start and Sticks to come off the bench and play the JaVale McGee role, right? So in theory, DA has been there through a championship run, so he will need to start. He will need to play those minutes. But this allows DeAndre Ayton to play extra aggressive now, too.
Yes.
We don't have to worry about him getting in foul trouble. I mean, like we do, but we don't. JaVale McGee at the same time, he can go out and just play balls to the wall for 15 minutes, get your 5 or 6 fouls, and Biyombo can also come in. So,
especially against
the Bucks.
Giannis. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like if we have DA, like, okay, let's say we're going against the Bucks. Okay, like we can be like DA, like you're like obviously you're starting tonight. Give us 20 to 23 minutes of you just going fucking hard, right? Like just going crazy, bodying people, doing whatever. Then we'll throw in
rejected.
I was a little late on the F-bomb drop, but
okay, sorry, but then we'll throw in JaVale with you for maybe like 2 to 3 minutes. We'll pull you out and then just this rotation because that's what the Bucks killed us. They had Portis in, they had the Lopez brothers in, and Giannis all in at the same time. And then
plus you've got like a 6 foot. How big is Chris Middleton? He's like 6'8" too, playing the shooting guard position.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Drew Holiday is the 6'3", 6'4" point guard or something like that too. They were just a big lineup, but Bobby
that's
Portis
what I'm saying.
But
if you put that stretch lineup out there, right? Ayton, Sticks, Cam Johnson, Mikal, and Book. That lineup is solid, dude.
The problem with that though is sometimes Devin Booker over dribbles a little bit, and he might have a little bit harder time playmaking. But you know what? We're not going to get into that because he's better this year. His turnovers are down this year too. His assists are a little bit up.
And what that means is that DeAndre has to play a little bit outside at the 3-point line because you when that works,
which he can do.
Which I'm saying, like. We just have to be confident in the fact that he can stand out there. The problem is I don't trust him. If somebody closes out, what's going to happen next? That's where I don't
true. True. But if we had a DA and Sticks lineup and Sticks is guarding a Bobby Portis on the 3-point line as well too.
Yeah.
Our guys on the perimeter are so good at recovering. They are so good at where I feel confident that Sticks would be able to slide down, at least take the charge or contest something. Meanwhile, you got Mikal, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, whoever you want to throw on that wing, they can get over and cover the corner where Sticks is dropping down from. You know what I mean? Our perimeter defense has just improved so much more during this little run since the Golden State Warriors loss. And I really think that's kind of propelled us too. Like, I can't wait to play the Warriors again where they have Klay Thompson and we're full strength as well too. Because we were just trying things. We were trying a small lineup out there. We were trying a Book campaign and CP3. You know what I mean? Okay, let's see what this looks like. All right, if your only center is going to be Green, let's throw big lineups out there, and then we're gonna throw a little lineup out there, and then we're gonna, you know what I mean? It is an abundance of riches, as the guy said last night. So I'm curious how it goes. Tomorrow is another test for the shorthanded Phoenix Suns. It's good to have Monty back. This should be a W. We should win by at least 12 to 16 points, in my opinion. Probably more. But at the same time, I don't want to say let's rest him, but for the lack of better terms, let's rest him to the point. Let's just beat him so bad to where we have Elfrid Payton running the team, the bench squad at the end. Chandler Hutchinson got the boot, by the way. He got dropped, so he's no longer with the team. And Ish Wainwright is still. What do you guys think of Ish Wainwright? Like, I like his decision making. I like his body that he has. He's a big body guy. He's pretty weak on the three, but he's always hustling. He just doesn't seem that talented, but probably like a good 15. Everybody needs a 15th man on the bench. You got to have a good last guy on the bench. And I think he's kind of that guy. What have you guys seen from Ish? Anything that stands out?
Same thing. I mean, I think, I just don't see the playmaking ability or just his shooting is not as great.
No.
But
I'll take Ish over Nader, Roy.
Yeah. I'll take Nader. I'll take Nader over Ish for sure.
I think Ish's defense is a little better, or
the Nader,
if not the same.
I mean, Nader's a black hole on offense. That's the big difference. I like Nader's aggressiveness and his perimeter defense, but he's a black hole. Yeah.
But dude, you got to remember, like last year, he shot over 40% from three. If he gives you over 40% from three, it's
no way. I'm going to stat check your ass and double check that. There's no way.
If he's 40%.
40% on 4 threes.
but I mean, with Ish, I think we're just that. I mean, again, it's abundance of riches. I mean, yeah, you'd like to keep him, but if that means that you can keep Biyombo, I mean, I know we got rid of Chandler Hutchinson. That probably means Biyombo's on, but maybe you're opening up that other spot for a Torrey Craig or some other combo guard or something.
You're right, but we're gonna drop MJ Walker. We're gonna drop Bass, right?
Yeah.
I kind of like the Justin Jackson signing, even though he didn't do much. I think he has more value than Nader. What do you think of those dudes, Amit?
I mean, potentially, yeah, but I mean, Justin Jackson, the guy. That's funny because I forget the meme. Somebody had a picture. He looked like somebody else, but he shoots like Josh Jackson. I can't remember who. I think they said he looked like Booker or looked like somebody. I can't remember what it was, and I'm just like, yeah. I mean, that's why this guy couldn't stick around the league. That's why this guy's on a 10-day contract.
I mean, I think that's a little short-sighted to a point, just because dude was drafted by Sacramento. Like, first off,
for a little bit.
I mean, Bagley was he was drafted in 17-18. I think the same one as Cam, if I'm not mistaken, or the one before Cam. But I mean, he was drafted the same one as Bagley, and Bagley is trash there. And then he got moved to Dallas, and he went around a little bit, went to OKC, and then was with Milwaukee and Boston this year for the 10-day hardship or whatever contracts. But I mean, he's been on some pretty poorish teams, but at the same time, at some point, you got to step it up. I mean, he's shot 32% from three, 42 from the field. I mean, these aren't great numbers by any means.
It's solid.
And yes, Abdel Nader shot 41.9% in 2020 from three. That's
Shoot him more.
I don't know the attempts. Yeah. Well, he was 34% this year, so that's the difference.
He was 28% this year.
I'm looking at
41 this year, 37.5 in OKC.
Yeah. And that's with Chris Paul there too, right? So the Chris Paul effect maybe.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. I would have never have guessed he would have been that. But I do like the Justin Jackson signing. I mean, he's an end of the bench dude. I think he's better than PJ Bass or Walker or some of the other guys that we've gotten on here. I mean, Emmanuel Terry's gone, so thank you for your 1 or 2 games that you came in and did some stuff when we needed you. Send you on your way, but it's amazing that we could find a guy like Bismack Biyombo, and I'm all about the Biz. I'm all about Jalen Smith. Find a way to get them to all play or all buy in, and let's see what happens. And do you guys know, and anybody in the chat, Roy, Alonzo, and JV, if any of you guys are in here, is Kaminsky like, nobody said he's officially out for the year. Is he what? What do you got?
So Flex posted today that he heard some mumblings about Kaminsky, and what the thing that he had, he was hoping that it wouldn't require surgery, but now it's leaning towards surgery. So it's looking to be another 6 to 8 weeks with Kaminsky out, and that's why. But like now we have Jalen Smith, and I think Jalen Smith is a more versatile Frank Kaminsky. So like we can.
Yeah,
he's faster. He's stronger. Agree. He has a better post moves. Like
no, he does not have better post moves. No.
He doesn't have better post moves, but he has an ability to score at the rim, probably a little bit slightly better.
I think that's what you probably meant, JJ, right?
Yeah, sort of, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Frank isn't going to hammer on anybody, but Frank has the ability to shoot the three. He has the ability to step down and attack the closeout. He has the ability to pass, especially from the high post or the elbow. I mean,
That's not true, Roy.
I think like given the last couple of years with Frank, I think he's evolved as a player. Like we saw it, like when Monty put him in game 6, and we're like, what is going on, dude? This is not a situation where this guy should be playing. And he gave us great minutes, right? Mm-hmm. And he was giving us great minutes this year.
We said he turned himself into an asset on this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and shouts to Mark Bryant again, because I really think that something changed in his game. And he's on a minimum deal too, right? So
I remember being on a podcast where everybody would bash Mark Bryant and then be like, I never even knew who Mark Bryant was. And then they would just move on to a different subject without actually looking or doing research. And Amit here is 100% correct. You are on the money there, Amit.
And I saw Mark Bryant play when he was with the Suns. I remember.
Same. Yeah, I remember when he would put up like 8 for 8 nights and 6 or 8 boards on 12 minutes of playing time. I was a fan of his when he was in Houston. This guy knows what he's doing, and he was a ton of bricks when you were trying to guard him down low.
Yeah.
He knows what he's talking about. I kept trying to say, but no one wanted to listen. So you know what, Amit, just for that.
Boom shakalaka! He's on fire!
100%. That is a great call. All of our you can count Dario in this situation too, dude. Dario was
got better
dead. Huh?
Dario got better here.
Dario he was left for dead. He was thrown in a freaking trade. He was just a throw-in because they didn't want to deal with him anymore. Then Kaminsky, and we go on that 11-0 run or something like that. DA showing out. JaVale McGee looking like the Golden State JaVale McGee again, right? Bismack Biyombo, Jalen Smith, Frank. I mean, it just keeps going and going and going. Shit. Keep Bass here. Keep Emmanuel Terry. I bet you anything they will do good in this offense. And you know what? I bet you a lot of it is due to Mark Bryant. He's in their ear. When you watch the big guys come out, you always see Mark Bryant going like this.
He's the first one up.
Yeah. He's leaning over and he's saying something right away. So, Amit, great perception there. Anything else you guys want to throw out for any Phoenix Suns stuff that's catching your eye right now or moving forward or whatever?
Well, who do we got after the Clippers? Is it the Heat? I forget who it was.
I believe it. I got it right here. Hold on, it's loading up. Clippers at 8:00. We got Miami on Saturday at 7, and then next Tuesday we start a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 game road trip. So we got 2 games at home coming up.
Yeah, so I just want to see, I just want to see the momentum that they're building right now, take it on the road and see how it goes. I mean, I'm sure it's almost like it's inevitable that we're going to see more guys go into protocols. I don't know if you guys have noticed that with people that the people that you work with, like everybody's freaking getting sick. So
Booker shouldn't, because he was in COVID at the beginning of the season. So
which is great. And CP3 had it over the summer.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to come back before the season ends. One of those two will get it.
Yeah.
Campaign hasn't gotten it. McHale and Cam Johnson haven't gotten it. Is that correct?
Yeah, they haven't been out because of COVID.
Yeah.
So it's inevitable.
No, maybe I think Cam might have been out. I think he was out like at some point last year. Because Dario was out with it last year, and I think Cam and both of them were both out, I think.
Aren't they saying 6 to 9 months and then you can get it again or something? It's different. Man. I'm sure it's different for high-class athletes as well, too.
Yeah, so who knows? But either way, I mean, we got the depth. Let's just keep playing with momentum the way that we're playing, and let's see how it goes.
JJ, before I get to you, Roy, I would give Biyombo, Ish, and Nader contract. Do you mean, I'm a little confused by your comment there. Would you rather give Biyombo a contract over Ish and Nader? I agree if that's the case. And shout out to our number 1 fan. No idea what that is, but shout out. Thanks for listening and getting our numbers up. JJ, give me your other thoughts on some Sun stuff here.
My only thought and concern is I hope Monty is open to adjusting the lineups a little bit, especially if we keep Biombo, and we're willing to ride out with Jalen Smith. Just like I think we can really utilize these guys. And let's say we fast forward to the finals and we have Jalen Smith playing pretty good, having consistent minutes, and the same thing with Biombo. And like if we can run like a big lineup against like the Bucks or something, like what I've seen in the last like 2-3 games, like there's potential, and it's exactly what we needed last year. There wasn't really anything else that really killed us besides rebounding and then size in the paint. So like we have defense, we have the shooting, we have the IQ, we have the versatility. We check just about everything. And what we didn't check was the size, the rebounding, and then just interior defense. So like if James Jones decides to sign Biombo for the rest of the season, and we're willing to ride out Jalen Smith to have him have consistent minutes within the rotation. I just hope Monty utilizes that, and I hope he takes note of just all the guys that we have right now, and they're not at Alfred Payton's level.
They're smart. They're smart.
Yeah,
they were able
to
get Alfred Payton, starting point guard of the Knicks, who were the number 4 seed last year, and they were able to convince that type of dude to be their third point guard option. And now the Knicks are like 12th place or something, and it's all because of Alfred Payton. Clearly, they had Alfred Payton, they'd be a top 4 team. But Roy brings up a good point again. Do you guys like Campaign right now? He's not doing well. I actually think he's doing well. I think he's turned it around the last 2 or 3 games. He's starting to get his bounce back. I think it was an ankle injury earlier in the year, if I'm not mistaken, where he was out a little bit. And that takes time. That takes weeks to heal. And then you're good enough to play. But then that still takes X amount of weeks to get your ankle back into game shape. So I think Campaign's doing well right now. He's kind of found his rhythm a little bit more off the glass. I think the Golden State game, again, lit a fire under his ass to do better. I see him doing a lot better right now, and I think he's only going to get better as well too. And he's also kind of giving up some point guard time. He's playing a lot with CP right now or Alfred Payton, and they're kind of going back and forth. So it's not like he gets the ball a whole lot. There's actually a handful of possessions where CP or Alfred will be on the right side of the court, Campaign's in the left corner, and everything's just on the right side. Shot goes up, and it doesn't even go to the left side. The ball doesn't even rotate to his side. So he's not getting as much touches right now. I think he's going to be just fine. I tweeted it last night, Campaign back. When he starts hitting hitting those weird ones off the bank again, he's back. So don't worry about Campaign.
I think you have to accept the fact that he's going to make 1 or 2 bad turnovers in a game. You're just going to have to accept that. We just can't get 4 or 5 of those. And by the way, even when he makes those mistakes, you see him hustling back and making plays on defense.
Oh yeah, so, he doesn't like pat around and shit like that. He runs back and sometimes
he makes up plays. So and the interesting thing is, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I remember looking at the advanced stats on his open spot up 3-point shots, his set shots, and he shoots them at a really high clip. So if he's playing with Booker and CP3. And he's just getting open threes. That's what you want. That's Cam Johnson level of 3-point shooting.
His pull-up threes are pretty atrocious. I don't want him taking pull-up threes.
And
I want him driving, dishing, and hitting open shots.
That's basically a turnover, right? So those types of things where he pulls up or he tries to force the ball ahead on a fast break, you got to accept 1 or 2 of those a game and live with everything else that he does.
Yeah,
completely agree. But he's back, Roy.
Yeah, and Roy, to add to what Amon and Evan said, COVID injuries, him being injured, he hasn't had a set lineup for him running his offense in practically all season. So eventually we're going to get to the point where we have everybody back at the same time, or at least his lineup, and he can finally start kind of flourishing if that's what you're looking for. But he did great against the Hornets. He did great last night. His floater game is I think stronger right now, and he's he's quick on the pivot, and he just he's back to what we saw last year a little bit. So I say he's back. He's definitely better now than he was in the beginning of the season. That I can say that for sure. But just give it time, Roy. We're still winning. Cam's doing all right. Cam campaign is fully back when CP, Book, and DA are all on the bench, and he can still maintain a lead, like 6 to 8 points or more,
or expand the lead,
and that's what he did during the bubble and then last season. So
yeah,
once he's back to that, it's GG. So
yeah, facts. And Roy wants to know real quick: would you guys trade Nader right now? No injuries or anything. I would just give up Nader, eat a portion of his contract, to not have him on the team, and then not have that salary on it. So
yeah,
in a heartbeat. And real quick, I don't know if you guys saw any of the scores tonight. The Mavericks beat the Warriors 99 to 82 tonight, by the way. Nice. So kind of a good win there, kind of keeping pace. I do think getting the number 1 seed is important. I think it's important for home court advantage for anything, unless you're the Cardinals, which brings us to our next topic, the Arizona Cardinals, you guys. Big win against Dallas. We weren't able to be with you Sunday night. My biggest apologies. I started a new gig and I just needed the extra rest going into that very, very first day to put on that first impression. You know how that goes. But I'm not going to gloat. I'm not going to say we played a good game. I don't want to say a damn thing because it's looking like we're probably going to be playing them in the first round. And what does Amit say about trash talking? It always bites you in the ass. So I don't want to say one thing about that game, except Cliff Kingsbury has like a 26-52 record or something closing out seasons since his time at Texas Tech. It's really good to see him get a win at the end of the season when the team is reeling against a quality football team on the road. They just wiped the floor with Washington the week before, 56-7, 14, something like that. So to have Cliff Kingsbury come out and have that type of answer, I think maybe not necessarily says that this streak is over per se, but I think it says a lot about his cojones going in there and doing what he has to do. I do think that, and I think this game against the Seahawks is going to be a get-right game. And I don't mean like we need to get all these things perfect. I think it's just bringing back James Conner, DJ Humphries, Marcus Golden, all these dudes that were out, build more confidence on top of what we just did, get the win. And if the San Francisco 49ers can go and handle business and beat the Rams, which they're going to try to do, because them and the Saints, Roy just brought it up, Falcons and Saints, if the Saints win, they're in. If the 49ers win, they're in. So the 49ers are going to go balls to the wall to try to win. So if they can find out a way to win, and if we can escape with a win too, we're going to win the NFC West, right? So it's not a get-right game. It's if we lose this game and are on the road for the playoffs and nobody's picking us, I'm going to be happy because that's when we've played best and nobody can say otherwise. That's clearly been the case. But if we can also win and gain more confidence, whether the Rams win or lose, I think that's going to be important for coming up. JJ, what are your thoughts? I don't even want to talk about Dallas. Good game. We won, almost blew it at the end, but we did a really great, what was it, 4:52 left on the clock when we got it in the fourth quarter, able to go down and just eat up the whole time. Great play calling. I won't say anything bad there, but I'm not going to say anything else about that game. But what are you looking at in this game, JJ? Is this a get-right game for you? Do you want to rest everybody and you don't give a shit? Where are you at?
At the professional level, you just play it all the way through. Secure the win and stuff. Winning the division, is very important in this league. So see you, Roy. But Niners are going to try to steal one from the Rams, and I'm pretty sure the Niners have won 5 in a row against the Rams.
They have their number. The problem is the quarterback. I don't know who's
Jimmy G was throwing today. There are reports that Jimmy G was throwing today, so we'll see.
Trey Lance had a pretty good game last week, but it's Trey Lance versus the Rams. Yeah. But so this Seattle game, this might be Russ's last hurrah. So let's definitely just win this game. Let's take his number and just crush the 12 in our hands. The 12
pull a LeBron James, Devin Booker at the end of last year's playoff season, right? And he never wore the 23 again.
Yes,
Where's
exactly.
this game, by the way? Is this on?
It's at home.
This is here.
It's at home.
It's at home. Oh, that's not a good.
Yeah, because remember Colt McCoy went up there and beat them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to take Seattle's number, and who would you guys rather go against in the playoffs, the Niners or the Cowboys?
Don't care.
Don't care.
Don't care. Play to win the game. Win this game. Let the cards fall where they may. No pun intended.
I want a home game. I don't want to be on the road. I know that we haven't had a good road record, but I guarantee you that stadium is going to be rocking if it's at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong
during
there.
that Rams game, right, Evan? That Rams game, it was packed. But I think the get right game was this Cowboys game. Honestly,
it's hard to say the 49ers though because it's hard to beat a team 3 times, and they played us tough.
Solid,
they played us pretty tough, and they're getting healthy.
Yeah, it's funny. So today is cool. At work, we have a lot of contractors and union guys that come through. And I saw this guy walking through with the Cardinals hat when I was going to lunch. And I'm like, "Are you a Cardinals fan?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I grew up in St. Louis." He's like, "My grandma put me on them." He's probably maybe 10, 15 years older than me. He's probably 55 or something. And we just had this whole conversation about the Cardinals. Yeah, it was cool, dude. Because we were just having this whole conversation. We talked about the Super Bowl. And then I asked him about this season and we're talking. And he's just like, no, I feel it with this team. And he's not he's not a podcaster. He's not watching the game probably the way we watch them. But he had this energy where he felt really confident in Kyler. He felt really confident that JJ Watt was going to come back. I know there's a lot of scenarios out there where we could end up playing the Eagles. We could end up playing the Cowboys, or we can the most likely scenario is Cowboys. And then we can end up playing the Niners. Beating a team 3 times in a row, and that's where I was talking to him. He's like, "No, we got the Niners." I'm like, "It's really hard to beat a team 3 times in a season." But then he made the point. He's like, "We don't even know who the quarterback's going to be, and we don't even know if that quarterback's healthy. So maybe that's who we want to play."
And we've gone against both, and we did better against Jimmy G than we did Trey Lance.
I know. I just play the games, play to win. Hopefully we can pull Kyler at some point. You guys, I swear to God, if Kyler Murray rolls out of the pocket one effing time and it's not fourth quarter, 4th and 1 situation and to win the game, I'm going to be so pissed. I don't want him rolling out or doing anything stupid this game, but anything that's besides the point right now.
Don't get hurt, Kyler.
That's to your point, Jay, it's not just Russell Wilson's last hurrah, but it might be Pete Carroll's last hurrah too.
Yes, it is. He's 70, y'all. He ain't coming back. He ain't coming back for a rebuilding project.
Try to win one for him,
Yeah. This is why we got to take the 12 man and just stomp on it, dude.
I think the team will sense the urgency here. I think they understand the gravity of it. I'm surprised we haven't heard a peep of JJ Watt. Maybe it's by design and on purpose. But if he's going to be making any type of playoff run, we should be hearing something. We're going to hear it Monday. No matter what, we're going to hear it Monday. We're going to hear it in 5 days' time. But I'm curious how that's going to play out. There's a lot of storylines with this team, you guys. I just don't want to be set up for my own personal failure and just being pissed off. I have no expectations of this team at this point. Again, if we go on the road for every game and have to go up to Green Bay or go to Tampa, I don't care where we have to go. And I want everybody to pick against us because we play better that way. I don't trust us at home. Amit, you say you want a home game. Can you explain to me why? Is it just because you think the home crowd's going to rock? I'm not sure why I understand.
Yeah, man. I mean, I wasn't at any of those 2015 games or the 2009 games, but I remember that those fans went crazy. Yes. I had a lot of friends there, and I just know, if it's a playoff game, we all say that Phoenix is a basketball town, but if the Cardinals are good, I really think it's a football town. I really think that. If we're this elite, I think we're a football town.
Rejected!
I mean, you could say
rejected.
But But I know, dude. Someone asked me one time. They're like, "Would you rather see the Suns win or the Cardinals win?" And I said Cardinals because I was like, just to have a Super Bowl ring, I think is more important than an NBA championship. I just think that's how sports in America works.
Sports in America, my personal preference and my first love was always right there. So I'm gonna go Phoenix Suns first for me.
Me too, but I don't know. For me, it's because I had to deal with the Cardinals playing at Arizona State in Sun Devil Stadium.
Sure.
As a kid, seeing Raiders fans doing a cabbage patch in the upper level with no shirt on, some fat slobby guy, as we're getting spanked by the Raiders or the Cowboys or the Steelers or even the freaking Lions, man. Like, I had to sit through those games. So I'm just, I don't know. I just know, like, once you get that kind of chip, it means something different. That's all I'm going to say.
I feel you.
The Super Bowl
I
is
am
the
the biggest
televised.
Suns fan. Biggest Suns fan. But I'm just saying that.
And the Super Bowl is the most televised sporting event in the U.S. by far. So we get national credibility, and like Kyler and Cliff's credit go up here, and then our cap space just grows like tremendously.
You guys need to understand, though, even if we do win Suns or Cardinals, the national credibility still won't come. It still won't be there. So get that out of your mind right away. That's not going to happen.
I just want a ring. That's fine.
I just want a ring. Yeah, I want a championship. I'm tired of living off of this one right here, and that's the championship pennant. And that was one of my best memories. I got to watch that with my grandfather, and I'm on the East Coast. It was 11:30, 12 o'clock whenever the game ended. I'm the only Diamondbacks fan. I'm walking into school the next day. Nobody even knew who freaking won between the Yankees and D-backs. And I'm on cloud nine like the whole summer. I got to go to the opening day game the very next year. And anytime that's replayed on TV, I want to watch it. It was replayed during the actual lockdown when everything was locked down beginning of spring last year. I sat down, I bought a 6-pack just to watch that game in its entirety. But it's been 20 years, over 20 years now. And I'm tired of living off of that one game, and we deserve it. So I don't care who it comes from, but if I had to choose, I'm always going to pick the Phoenix Suns. And speaking of the Phoenix Suns, I wanted to share something with you guys and to just kind of get your, not video file. I'm going to share my screen. I want to get your input on this, especially you, Amit.
Mark West. He has the highest percentage of
Dan Shilas,
the team.
Dan Margella. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
No.
You can't hear it?
No.
Can you hear it, Amit?
I can hear it.
For the people that are just listening, I am putting together a NBA sports card thing in my game room. If you're watching, you can see I'm currently in the process of putting it together.
I'm showing it on video for you guys listening. Yep.
And so I have a card, and my pops.
And he, I want to set it up for them because this is gold. So nice old JJ here. He's like, guys, I'm setting up my room. I've got the black behind me now. And if you guys on audio ever go on and look, you should look at his background now. He's got a nice little background going on, some sports memorabilia. And he's like, guys, I got this whole card thing and I've got these 5 slots and I need 2 more for these Suns cards. And I have all these Suns cards down here. Like, I've got Mark West. I've got Cedric Ceballos. Like, who should I put up? Wesley Person's over here. He brings up Elrod or Jared Mustaf, who I think I've heard like 1 or 2 times. He goes to Mark West, and I hope everybody can hear. And then he goes to these players.
I can't hear it, but
so he says Dan Shays. He's the backup center to Joe Klein in the mid 90s. He goes, I got Dan Shalis, and then he goes on to his next card. It's this white guy in number 9 that his jersey's retired. And he's like, I'm thinking I'm going to point to this guy. I'm thinking I'm going to pick him. Dan Margella. JJ called Dan Marley Dan Margella, and he called Dan Shays Dan Shales. And I just want this to forever live in infamy on this podcast that JJ said.
So did you think the restaurant Marley's was like a different person?
Let's go to Margella's for the night. Let's go.
I've never been to Marley's.
But did you think it was the same thing? Like you've heard it before, right?
No.
You've heard of it? You never heard of Marley's? Oh my God.
I've not seen one out here. And then my pops always called it Dan Margella. So
Rejected.
How are you going to reject me if I haven't heard of it before?
Hold on. So here's another point. The Hustle Award for the Suns is called the Dan Margella Hustle Award.
Like I'll keep track of that shit.
Was that a different guy? A different player?
Let's go.
Shout out to him then.
Drafted out of Eastern Michigan, not Central Michigan. Dan Margella.
Oh my God.
But
I love you, JJ.
Him, but,
we're joshing on you, but it is Dan Marley, and don't ever forget it.
Margella.
And it's not Horacio Lamas. It's Horacio Llamas.
It's Lamas.
Is it Lamas?
Like Lamas bread from Harry Potter?
But he's Mexican, isn't it? Llamas?
It's Llamas.
Yeah, it's Llamas. You had me fooled for a second. All right.
Oh, that is awesome. Cardinals coming up, you guys. Last game of the season. Do you guys have any thoughts on week 18 in the NFL? I mean, we got big games. We got the Raiders and Chargers Sunday Night Football. That'll be kind of fun to watch, win and you get in. But I mean, this really negatively impacts the San Francisco 49ers. They would be in right now at the end of 17 weeks, week 17. But we've got to play one more week, and now they still have to win to get in or hope that New Orleans loses, right? Any comments on just the additional week in the NFL this year? Do you wish we were going into playoffs? Are you happy with it? Amit, you're shaking your head.
No, I don't like the idea that we're playing an extra week because we have so many guys with injuries. We have so many guys with COVID. I mean, like, for us, it's an opportunity to see James Conner, Rondale Moore, DJ Humphries, a lot of these guys get back on the field and play, which we need. So it benefits us from the fact that, yeah, we have this extra week, but it probably didn't benefit us when a lot of guys got injured because they had to play an extra week. So, I mean, NFL is about making money. They're going to put this extra game in. I don't like it. I think we should stick to a 16-game schedule, especially when you see like guys like Cooper Kupp putting up like these ridiculous numbers. And it's like, okay, dude, this isn't a regular, like you played an extra game. Like it's not the same thing, even though
that I agree with
16 weeks, he did do it in 16 weeks, or he's close in 16 weeks, but like an extra week, it just makes all the stats like not seem relevant.
I totally get where you're coming from. I think this year for us, it might bode well. It gives us an extra week to get some guys ready to go. I mean, we still saw that Jordan Phillips is going to be out and Zach Ertz is hurting and Zach Allen is hurting again. So I almost feel like it gives us an additional week to get healthy. But I as far as records are concerned, like you almost, if somebody breaks Reggie White's sack record, or not Reggie White, he had the sack record. Michael Strahan's sack record or a passing record or something like that, you almost have to put the asterisk by it now too, because there's an additional game. It's like an extra 300 yards passing or whatever it is, rushing the ball too. So I totally get that point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because Cooper, if you go look at Cooper Kupp, like he's going to break all of was it Isaac? No, it was Isaac. I don't know who it is, but receptions, yards, and touchdowns. Calvin? I think he's going to, maybe not touchdowns. Who is it?
Are you thinking about Calvin?
No, Calvin didn't have these kind of numbers. It was either like Isaac Bruce or Randy Moss, something like that, in terms of yards and touchdowns. Like he's close to 2,000 yards receiving.
Well, I know Kupp is close to
Calvin Johnson had the most receiving yards in a season.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking all that up right now.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah,
it was both. So.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. Like now the league is different. Like I don't think there's any way we ever go back to 16 games or anything less than that. It is what it is, and for us, it meant that we ended up playing an extra road game, which was beneficial because we went 8-1, right? So that's good for us. But yeah, I mean, it's weird having like a schedule that has odd number of games in it too. That's a weird thing. because you can't end up at 500 unless you tie.
I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah,
You're either over 500 or you're not.
Yeah, but so what are you at 500 then? What does that mean?
That you tied a game.
What if you're 8-1? Does that mean you had a losing season?
Then you really are just the most average team of all time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I totally get where you're coming from there. On the flip side, we don't have the 4th preseason game.
True.
So, that's taking some guys out of the fire there, but it's a money grab, as you said, man. It's 100% a money grab, and it is what it is. We're going to have...
But it's also, the other thing, too, is it's pushing games later into the season. So this would be, like, last weekend would have been the last week of the season, so playoffs would have started this weekend. So now we have to wait a whole nother week for playoffs. So that's the thing I don't like.
I'm actually okay with that, just because then everything gets extended an extra week, and that's one less week in the off season.
Does it though? Because the Super Bowl is still the same week.
I guess that's true.
Whatever. I'll wait another 7 days. It's not a big deal.
It's an extra NFL Sunday. That's what you can look at it as. It's an extra NFL Sunday. You get to see Justin Fields starting for the Chicago Bears now. Maybe he does a little something that gets people excited. You get to see a few different things, and I think it helps the injured teams maybe get an extra week. A team like the 49ers, that sucks. But if you win with Trey Lance, maybe you can go to Jimmy G next week. Who knows? Either way, I'm going to be glued to my TV during the Cardinals game. I'm going to have the red zone on the other TV, hoping we can somehow pull out the NFC West. We've been there the whole time. I would love to go out in style. I'd love the Rams to just, falter. But then there's a chance we would play the Rams the first week too if we get this. So a lot of things can happen. A lot of things are going to happen. Stay tuned. The Suns got the Clippers coming up. We already talked about that. That's going to be a dub. And then who do we play? We play Saturday. We play the Heat. And then we get Sunday with some NFL action. So Sunday's podcast is going to be big with the one and only Darth Voita. John Voita from Suns Jam Session is going to join us. He is a diehard Cardinals fan as well, too. So we're going to be talking 90% Cardinals on Sunday, NFL playoffs, upcoming matchups. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're going to find out who wins the Sunday night matchup by the time we get on. And then we're also going to talk some Sun stuff with John. And we're going to have a full game when DA and JaVale McGee is back. So we're going to have a lot to talk about on the He's on Fire podcast coming up. Thank you guys for tuning in. Share this podcast out as much as you can. Visit us on our Apple Podcast, Spotify. Leave some good reviews. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you Sunday. Later.
Sets. Looks up. And it is Dylan Strong. Blitz coming. Matthews. Palmer extending the play. Crosses the field. Larry Fitzgerald. He scores. It's over. It's insane to the 4-yard line. Crowder looking, throws it alley.